Hello, my friends, and welcome into another edition of Joyful Parents. My name is Jay McFarland, and on this channel, we give you parenting hacks that take the anger and the frustration out of parenting, and that actually help you have a great relationship with your children, regardless of what age they are in. Now, before I had shared with you something that you should never say to your children unless you really mean it. And what I told you is never tell them you can come to me with anything. And then when they come to you and they admit to something and you go all freakazoidal on them, then you have burned your bridge with them and told them they can't really come to you with everything. Well, there's another side of that coin, or another phrase or promise that a parent can make that I want you to be very, very careful with. And this again comes from my own experience. My father, I told you I didn't have the best relationship with him, but he always told me, if you ever need anything, just come to me. I'll be there for you. He said this hundreds of times to me. If you ever need anything, just come to him. And honestly, I didn't really believe it. And so I never took him up on it. But he said it all the time. Every time I saw him, if you ever need anything, just let me know. And, I'm your dad. I will take care of it. So one day I needed to ask him for help. This was a day when I became fully homeless. Now, I will share this story in its completion at a later date, but needless to say, I was living in my truck, and I had been living in my truck for months, and my truck got impounded, and I didn't have the money to get it out. So if ever there was a minute or a moment for my father to help me out and to fulfill his promise, this was it, because I was now on the streets. I was now homeless. So I get on the payphone and I call him collect. And many of you who are millennials, you have no idea what that means to call them collect, but that's okay. And he picks up the phone and I explain to him my dire situation. And he was silent for a minute. And then he said, "I'm sorry, I can't help you." And I couldn't have been in more dire straits. I mean, there was never in my entire life an opportunity where I needed his help more. I literally had nowhere to stay that night. I had no food. I had no money. I was going to be on the streets unless my father helped me out. And my father turned me down. Now, as I said, I didn't have much of a relationship with him, and I don't know why I expected that maybe he would help me. But he did not. I spent some time on the streets because of that. Now, there was somebody who helped me out, who had helped me out many other times before, and that was my older brother. He's been my savior many times. And I have mistreated him even after he had saved me many, many times. But I just want to share with you that when we make statements like this, you can come to me with anything and I won't be mad. If you ever need anything, come to me and help. You're going to have one chance. And when that chance comes, if your response is different than what you told them it would be, then that bridge is burned forever. It's gone. And it will severely damage your relationship. It will damage your trust. And as you can imagine, I didn't have much of a relationship with my father anyway at that point. But after that, it was, that was pretty much the last straw. Now, I'll admit I had created the situation. It was my fault that I was homeless. I had made some terrible, horrible mistakes. So he could have, maybe this was some form of tough love, but knowing my father, it was not. And even tough love when you know your kid is now left out on the streets to fend for himself. I mean, I would think that this could be an opportunity to help, to show him that you care, to build a relationship, and to help him get back on his feet. That did not happen. And because of that, I had to learn how to fend for myself on the streets of San Jose, California. And it's kind of a long story. I think it's a story that I want to share with you. I'm trying to figure out, does it belong in a course on joyful parenting? I think it does, just because it demonstrates how I got myself into trouble and how parenting played a role in that. So I do think that I will share the entire story with you. But it's not the easiest thing for me to talk about. And so I'll wait until I'm ready. I hope that you can have some patience, and I will wait. But in the meantime, 2 things that if you tell your children this, man, you better mean it. And that is, first of all, you can tell me anything and I won't get mad. And the second thing is, if you ever need my help, just call. I'll always be there. My parents failed this test, and it put a huge gap in our relationship. I hope that as a parent that you will not fail this test. If you're not ready to keep these promises, don't make them to your children. If you have made them, then when the time comes, you better step up, or you may never get another chance. And we talk about this in quite a bit of detail in my online course, Joyful Parents, Life Hacks for Parents, to help you have a joyful experience parenting. It should be fun. It should be exciting. It should not be anger-filled. And I've shared a lot of ways for you to avoid that anger and avoid that frustration. So check it out at jaymcfarland.com. And also, please take a minute and like and subscribe and click that bell so you're notified every time that we put out a new video. And as always, I want to hear from you in the comments about what you think about these 2 promises. Have you made them to your children? And were you able to keep them when they finally played that card and asked for your help?